All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good night whenever you guys are watching this. Today I have the entertainment of a Lethality operative game for you to chew your eyes on. As you can tell, I am currently practicing for the Lethality operative guide that I'm putting together. I actually have a couple of these rather high quality produced videos in the hopper right now between this and another defensive cooldown video. It's going to be a good time. Right in the opening here, we can just see we're throwing down some of our dots, or trying to do some little dot spread action. The last thing we want is to let this power tech free cast, because obviously he's an AP power tech, and if you just let him run around and go buck wild, well then you're in for a bad time, so they're just going to do all the damage in the world. However, I find that this man is healing, so suddenly the priorities kind of got to shift here. Today we're running the tactical that spreads our Toxic Blast to all the targets, which means that we're going to be trying to do as much dot spread as possible. Additionally, when we throw down our Toxic Haze, whenever we use our Lethal Strike, the Lethal Strike is going to affect all targets within the Toxic Haze. So it is a very, very quality AoE ability here, if you can get it to work. If you get the teams to stack, it can be absolutely beautiful AoE damage, and then when they don't stack or you get CC'd like happened there, it can be really, really sad. I'm noticing that we're actually burning through this guy's heals pretty easily here. He's doing as much healing as he can. However, we have some really solid DPS on this team that are starting to churn through him. So we can just tunnel down the weaker players, and the weaker players, I mean like in terms of health bar at the moment, and just go to work that way. Now, at the same time, we do not have a healer on our team. But this is okay for us because we are Lethality. Lethality has very strong off heals for one, and then self heals as well. You can tell that every time I roll, I'm getting a buff that allows me to instant cast my Colto, which is going to give me HOTS for an extended period of time. Additionally, when we use our stim boost, we get some little DR, and then whenever we use our countermeasures, we get 10% healing over the course of a couple seconds, and then we get 2 free stacks of Colto. So despite not being a proper healer, we have a lot of healing on our own, which is going to be great because we don't have any healing at the moment. However, despite for all the soft heals off heals that we have to stealth out here and get out of combat. Your health bar is by far your most important resource at all when you're running a DPS class. Dead players do no damage, so protect your health bar at all costs, even if that means heroically running away once in a while. However, I see all these guys are coming up here and trying to pick on my friends, so I'm going to get them all down with the big AoE damage that we were working on before, and just the colossal burst of Lethality Operative. It's not quite as catastrophic as like a Conk Op is. However, you can absolutely put in some work as the Lethop here. I think we haven't really talked about the what we're actually doing in this game so much as we're talking about like self heals and the basic idea of, hey, here's how to protect your health bar with your off heals, because Operative's defensive cooldowns are kind of wonky in that they're solid, but they're very few. Especially Lethality Operative, where you don't have roll to give you all that evasion like Conk Op has. You really have to protect your health bar with the DCDs when you have them, but more importantly, just have your off heals ticking on you as much as possible. That is your number one priority in terms of giving yourselves that little extra ability to survive. Also just throwing off heals on our lads here as we're running back to Pylon. Especially when there's nothing better to do, like might as well throw off these Colto probes to help out our lads here. Looking back into mid, we can tell that we're slowly whittling these teams away, so we can just kind of sit in mid and farm points. Right now we currently have double points just from the opening burst. Oh, there's everyone. Let's throw down the Elite, Winning Blast, Toxic Haze, and then murder them all at once with some beautiful AoE farming. Oh, the numbers. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. Yep, is that as good for you as it was for me? Because it definitely was good for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just going to keep up the AoE farm. You can see, even despite standing in the middle of all this and not having a healer of our own, our self-heals have kept us up at this monumentally great full health bar, which is just fantastic. But only because we've been having our self-heals rolling this entire time. Now our self-heals have worn off a little bit. I'm not paying attention. I'm too caught up in doing damage. Our health bar is starting to tick down. It gets a little tricky if you are, or it gets a little dangerous if you're not really paying attention, which I'm clearly not doing here. Now this guy is their healer. Unfortunately for them, they don't have, or we have a lot of DPS for one, at least compared to what they're rolling with. So we can very quickly burn through all of his heals, and if they're going to sit there and stun him up and murder him, all the better for us. Now, I am taking the evasion utility here, which means that every time I get attacked, I get a less cooldown on my evasion. So I can be popping evasion much more aggressively than you normally would otherwise. Evasion has a 1-minute cooldown. However, with the utility, you can get it kind of every 30 seconds, which is really, really nice. You can see I'm already back down to a 15-second cooldown on my evasion, which is really, really handy. You can pop your evasion much more aggressively that way. Again, just kind of clean up here with the AoE work. Yep, okay, cool. Yep, just laying down the burst. Unfortunately, it's just kind of slow going against the PT here. He thinks he can escape, but there's no running from the bonk. I'm throwing out off heals here when possible, just because I know that my team doesn't have any off heals. So if I can serve as that little off heal player, the more the merrier, essentially. And then, as usual with the Hypergate, we want to pick on players with low health. Every single player is worth the same amount of points, right? There's no need to only pick on like the primary target or the healer, etc. If you can kill a player, it's worth the same amount of points if you can kill him in 15 seconds compared to if you killed him in 50 seconds. So make sure you're picking on those weak players in Hypergate to just help out your team a little bit more here. Again, throwing out off heals for Kirby here to try to make sure he doesn't die too quickly. It's very difficult without a healer. You can see here I'm shamelessly AoE farming by throwing down Toxic Haze instead of doing damage, which I think is okay. You know what? That's what we came here to do. Again, just more evasions, so many evasions because we have this utility. It's very, very nice. But now we got to heroically run away because obviously it's a very bad spot, so we can just pop our stealth out and get the hell out of there. No sense in standing around. A lot of times people don't check these upper corners, so if you stealth out and you don't want to run all the way outside, you can just stand up top, and then people just won't check on you. And then this is just the AoE farm of the century. Put it down. Oh, there it is. And then I get stunned, and then I break for the sole purpose of laying down Lethal Strike and all those targets. There is no better reason that I did that. There was no tactical advantage. It was just I saw AoE farm happening, and I wanted a part of it. So I took place. I'm just going to do the same exact thing right here. Oh, there's everyone. Thank you. Yep, cool. Thanks for standing in my AoE farm. Appreciate it. One of the very underutilized DCDs that I see in like new operative players is that they're not using their revitalizers, especially with like the utility. Revitalizer's utility provides you with a decent amount of DR and a decent amount of healing as well. It's very, very handy, and if you are not taking advantage of it, you're missing out on a very handy DCD because, as I said before, operatives, they do have some decent DCDs. However, it's not the very strong always DCDs like some of the other classes have. So making sure to take that extra utility and just be popping out rather aggressively is very important. A major mistake that I'll see players making is that they don't pop their DCDs until it's too late, or they'll save it for like the one time in the match when it'll save them. When in reality, you can be sending your DCDs a whole lot more aggressively than you might think. Like I spent my stim boost at the beginning of that fight, and it's already almost off cooldown. And that's only because I was able to spend it early, and now I get it back early as well, right? The faster you can be spending those in useful situations, the more likely you're going to have them up for multiple times during the match. So spend it aggressively if you can. That goes for almost all of your DCDs. Again, shameless AoE farming. Oh, shameless. We're going to get out. I'm a stealth. I'm stim. Yep, all right, this is fun. But now, even now, like I'm going to have my stim boost again in 5 seconds here if I just live. So we should be fine. A lot of the dots from Lethality come from just shameless AoE farming. You're not going to be doing like the catastrophic burst damage that your Concealment Brothers will be doing. However, you do have the opportunity to do a monstrous amount of dot spread, which can be absolutely catastrophic to any total team's health bar. This hasn't been like the perfect dot spread game. However, by using our off heals and like supporting Kirby here, who doesn't have any heals of his own, we can really be putting in some work for our team. Like none of the damage that I put out right now has been like game changing, at least on the surface, right? On its own, I got netted and neuted. Wow, that was a real dum. Netted and nuked. As I was saying, none of the damage I've put out has been like absolutely catastrophic. Like I haven't nuked anyone from 100 to 0. However, having the consistent pressure across all different teammates, or against their entire enemy team, does add up over time. You can see here we have a lot more kills than they do. We're preventing them from getting mid. We're shamelessly and aggressively running into mid because I fucking don't know. pop our energy shield, and then just run the hell away. Our entire team isn't here right now, so I'm not sure why exactly I chose this fight. I was just feeling ballsy. I was feeling a little aggressive. However, fortunately, we have all of our DCDs back. Again, we spent Stim Boost aggressively last fight, so we can have it again this fight in 4 seconds if I need it. More shameless AoE farming, more shameless AoE farming. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We find their healer, knock them down. Cool. Yeah, this game's pretty much over by now. Again, just the self heals, off heals, all day, every day. Shameless AoE farming. That is the lethality way. So if there's one thing I hope you guys take away from this is that if you have cooldowns that you're not spending frequently in the match, switch that up. You can start by just counting the amount of times that you're spending a cooldown throughout the match, and then see if you're happy with that number. If you're only spending your primary cooldowns once or twice throughout a match, that's probably too low. You want to be spending that more often. So keep a running tally of how often you're actually popping those DCDs, and I think you'll see better results over time if you just think of something to focus on. Like, again, there's an additional Stim Boost. Easy. Popping them all day, every day. So this is a very much a sit and mid and farm game. Not the most interesting game in the world. However, it was just kind of the game that I had back in the hopper, and I wanted to get it to you before I could get my other videos out. I have some more videos in the works. There's one for, obviously, the Lethality Operative Guide, and then there is one in the defensive cooldowns for Sorks in the hopper here. So only 8.3k. However, without having any heals, I was pretty happy with that. We did top damage and then top heals for our team as well. So you can really be putting in work for yourself and for your team as a whole by playing the Lethality Operative in a very defensive measure here. Look at that. We took 2-some million damage and only died once because of our off heals. So it was a good game. I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you later. Peace.